Hello. Would you like to be able to record your modular really easily? In this video, I'm going to show you something that really couldn't be simpler to explain. It is a recording module for the modular that is in the modular. It has 8 inputs. You plug your sound sources into those 8 inputs, and you have an SD card for your files. And all that you do is if you push the rec button, it will record all those 8 tracks for as long as you want in 24-bit quality. Or you can also do 16-bit quality. The module itself is 4 HP, so very, very small. And interestingly, there is a 1U panel if you prefer 1U v3U. So why is this interesting? To me, it comes down to the fact that the modular is just such a never-ending source of ideas. This is my live system that I'm working on at the moment. And as I'm practicing this, there are just times where I get myself into a situation where I have written a concept to a track. And I'm like, this is really good. I would capture this. And I would like separation from the parts. What I have done here is I've wired the individual parts, the stems of my track, 3 voices, drums mixed down, my kick drum, and my 2 effects, all into the 8 inputs of the Xattr. And when I push that button, now all the components of my track are being recorded unmixed. So I have the raw components. And of course, if you're not interested in recording the 8 tracks, you could just record the stereo output. Now, what's this other little thing here? You might just be able to see this is an expander. And so the idea of the Xattr is that you can get it as just a 4 HP module, and all it does is record. But what the expander does is it adds 2 things. One is it adds a sort of pass-through. So you can plug your things in there and you can pass them back out. So this means you could sort of intercept and record the signals and then send them off to wherever they need to go. I'm actually using mults to do this, which is another way you can do it. But that involves bigger cables, more things, big stacks like you see here. It would be better for me to use the pass-through on here. I'm capturing this in a slightly weird way because this system wasn't really built around the Xattr. And one other thing it does is it's got a TRIG in. And that just means that you can use an external trigger to start the recording or not. And the only other thing to say is the expander just works with the 3U version because it sort of mates to the thing around the back. It doesn't work with the 1U version. It will also be possible to chain units together with a special cable so that you can record more than 8 channels at once. So let's show you how it works in practice. I'll come up with an idea and I'll record it in the Xattr, and then I'll throw it into the computer and I'll show you what the files look like. So let's capture an idea with the Xattr. And so to record, we push the button. Actually, what I'm going to do is unplug 2 of these channels just to show the level of self-noise with nothing connected, i.e. what is the Xattr contributing noise-wise to the signals? It's not very much. So with that running, we can just play. Yeah. Yeah. To the computer. Stop. Push. And we go. So here at the computer, I've loaded up the SD card and we can see what the contents look like. You end up with all of these folders of seshes, which I really like the name of, having a bit of a sesh. What you're seeing is a special WAV file, a polywav, that contains all of the 8 tracks inside it. And interestingly, if we try to drag that into something like Ableton Live, it doesn't know what to do with it. There is one little stage we need to take before we can use it in a DAW, and that's just to split the files out. There are a number of programs that can do it. Audacity can apparently do that, Audacity, which is free. What I might recommend is a piece of software called Wave Agent. Wave Agent is free, and Wave Agent will let you export polywaves. Let's try it. I would like to have it. May I have it? Ah, the old classic. It can't be opened because of the quarantine thing, but I'm going to help you out here because I'm going to show you at home how to fix this problem. We go to the terminal and we type that. And then you drag the file onto the window and that writes in the location, you hit return. And now you can open it. So I drag this in here. It says, hey, that's an 8 poly sound of this length. And it was recorded in 1992. I like that because I like to think that inside my modular with all its rave stabs, it's always 1992. We then go to split combine. At the top, you have to click split poly. Then with your output directory selected, you hit process. Et voila. Now we'll select them and I'll put them into Ableton Live, but I will hold Apple key. It means that it drops everything vertically on top of itself. Got to turn off warping and any other shenanigans because you want them all to be the same length. Here we go. Yeah. So here is my modular jam with 8 components all on separate tracks. So I have all the materials that I need to build a remix of it. It could be that I've done a perfect jam here and what I would just be doing in the computer is a perfect mix. But I think what's more interesting is this idea that I would be capturing parts, pieces that I would work up into full arrangements using all the power of the computer, but all the inspiration of the modular. If really all I was doing was capturing the stereo mix, which is what I'm doing with my system, I could easily use this as a kind of 4HP or 1U version of it. And very easily capture my stereo mix in a way that required that I carry no extra weight in my rig. Because currently what I'd have to do is I'd have to carry a separate field recorder and I have to make sure it's in and on and powered and everything all hooked up in the correct levels, whereas here it could be integrated into your system so you don't even think about it. You just push the red button. Actually, it's green. The green button, which has a red function. Very nice. So look, we've got all these pieces. I've got like that. That's a sample right there. That little like bowl. Could have that. Could lift it. Yeah. You're simply avoiding this thing that if you came up with a really good idea and you liked all the drums and all the parts, you don't then have to record them one by one into something else, you know, just to preserve them. You just push one button and 8 tracks. And more if you have them linked are recorded. Plenty of headroom. We have obviously got modular stuff going in here and it's not clipping. And we should talk about the self noise, which is low. Do you recall that I plugged and unplugged the first 2 channels? I mean, how am I even going to find the noise floor? I'm going to turn it up 24 dB. Man, I need to add even more. I can't even, where's the bit where I plugged it in? It's there. That's it. There, you hear it. That's me plugging in the actual modular. That's the self noise. I've added 59 decibels of gain to hear that. So if we reduce the gain back down to 0, I don't hear that. The point here is that it captures what you feed it. It doesn't add its own self noise, and you've got a ton of headroom, so it's totally happy receiving big, loud modular things and capturing them without clipping. There's not much more to say about this sweet little thing, is there? It's a module that records 8 channels of your modular. You push the button and it records super conveniently. If you need more than 8 channels, you can chain them together. If you need less channels, you can just plug less stuff in. That's fine as well. I think it's a pretty reasonable trade-off, in my opinion, to lose 4 HP to have a field recorder in your system. And with the whole sweet benefit that these ideas that your modular comes up with that were very expensive to achieve, well, you get all the parts and you can wang them into Ableton Live or whatever you use, and you can turn them into full tracks. Oh, yes. Thanks very much, Halftime. Links below to this. And thank you for watching. We'll see you soon.